Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And it is probably no wonder why education in Scotland is suffering and going down so badly. One of the major problems, of course, is a lack of teachers. There are so many vacancies because people are either leaving the profession entirely or moving out of Scotland and down into England to carry on with their career. And when you see what's happening within the schools, you can understand why. Since the last sort of figures pre-pandemic, the incidence of attacks on teachers, both physical and sexual, has increased incredibly. And we're not talking a little bit. We're talking massive, massive amounts. To the point where it's nearly 54% more than 5 years ago. 2019. So in such a short period, it's increased that much. And of course, partly it's going to be lockdown, children not, mixing, meeting, lacking social skills. But also the fact that head teachers have had the power to exclude pupils removed. And so teachers will walk in, they can try to be authoritarian, but the kids know that they can get away with just about anything. Let's have a look. So this is in the Press and Journal, a fine old paper. Oldest, I think, in Britain. School, and we'll have to say physicality. It doesn't like that word too early in a video. So school physical attacks increase by 53.6% from the last pre-pandemic year, figures show. And so it's no wonder so many teachers want to leave the profession. So many teachers have had enough and they just don't want to be risking it. Ministers have been told to take urgent action after new figures reveal school violence increased by more than 53% since the last pre-pandemic school year. Statistics obtained by the PA News Agency through the Freedom of Information showed nearly 100,000 reports of violence and aggression were reported in schools across Scotland between 2018-19 and 22-23. In the current school year, up to March 24, a further 23,000 incidents were logged from 27 of Scotland's 32 local authorities. So it's going to be nearer 30,000 by the time you take them all in. Analysis of the data shows that for the last full school year, 22-23, nearly 30,000 incidents were recorded by schools, up 53.6% from the nearly 19,000 in 2018-19, the last year before the schools were impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, this is a problem. This is obviously a major problem because not only is it the teachers themselves getting attacked, but it's also disruptive for the pupils. It's destroying their education. It's reducing the levels of good teachers because the good ones leave. And it is having an absolute impact on not only Scotland now, but Scotland in the future, because these kids that are going to grow up and go out into the world won't have the education needed to be a progressive, forward-leading nation. And so what are the SNP doing about it? Well, they're doing precisely nothing. They're saying that, yes, we don't want head teachers having the ability to exclude pupils. That's a bad thing. Well, here's the thing. And this is a wonderful piece, and any teacher who listens needs to pay attention. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again because it needs reiterating. If you are in a situation at school and there is a pupil who has attacked you physically, sexually, in any way, you go to your head teacher, you say, this is now a health and safety issue. You will be returning home immediately and you will wait there on full pay until the health and safety issue has been resolved. This is your legal right, and you are not going to work in a position where you're under threat of danger of physical or sexual harm until that's been corrected. And then you sit at home and they have by law to pay you. That's it. There's nothing happened there. And if every teacher who suffers this did exactly that, you'd end up with no teachers at all in the schools, all of them sitting at home on full pay, and for once I actually think, okay, it's good, because this would force the hand of the local authorities and the SNP government to change the stupid law that forbids head teachers from excluding unruly or troublesome pupils. They do it, they throw them out, everyone benefits, because the schools benefit because they don't have these unruly pupils, the teachers benefit because they're not at physical risk, those children who want to learn can learn in a safer environment, and the unruly pupils themselves can be controlled, corralled and put into a special provision school run, I would suggest, by ex-military. They won't put up with their shit. Works for me. I'm pretty sure it works for you too. Who knows? Maybe. Let me know in the comments if you agree with my proposals. I'm not a politician. Well, I ought to be. Anyway, each local authority records the information in a different way, with most including verbal and physical aggression, throwing of objects, sexual harassment and damage to property. Where a breakdown was provided, the vast majority of incidents were pupil violence against teachers, because of course it is. And then the teachers themselves say, no, enough's enough. Scottish Labour education spokeswoman Pam Duncan-Glancy said this shocking rise in school violence demands urgent action from the SNP. Well, you won't get urgent action from the SNP, you don't get any action from them. They are probably encouraging it. If they can make Scotland's pupils stupider and dumber by not actually educating them, it's better for them. They don't want an educated population. Educated people question their actions, question what they're doing, ask them awkward things. They don't want that, do they? Anyway, the Scottish Government has said violence in schools was completely unacceptable. Then why are you encouraging it by your policies? Adding it's providing new funding to train support staff while launching a new gender-based violence framework for school. Why have you got to push gender on this? Just say, no, you caused trouble, out. End of story. A breakdown by the figures by local authorities showed that Fife and Edinburgh, both large council areas, had 7,546 and 7,356 reports of violence over the 5-year period, respectively. And there were 2,652 incidents in Fife, up 118.8%, more than doubled in that same period. Fife, you've got to pull your finger out and sort yourself out and start excluding your problematic pupils and throwing them into Borstal. Anyway, Duncan Glancy added, after years of SNP mismanagement, schools in Scotland have become pressure cookers and kids are paying the price. Yes, they're paying the price for their education. They're not getting one. Children need to have a safe space to learn, she says, and the SNP must give teachers and school staff the support they need. And as I say, any teacher who gets abused in any way says it's a health and safety issue at that point and walks out, sits at home, full pay, and there is nothing. And here's the thing, the council can't fire you once you've put in a complaint about health and safety. They would be so liable for that. It's actually a crime. You know, it's actually a crime to fire someone after they've made a health and safety complaint. So you're not going to lose your job. Make the complaint, walk out, sit at home and wait until they come back and said that is now a safe space. And you get them to write it down that it is now a safe space. And then when it isn't, you sue their ass. Good luck. Coming up. Now, in case anyone thinks I'm talking out the back of my head about the health and safety aspect, regular viewers will know, for many, many years I was an accountant, but I was also the operations manager for a house builder, 25 years, on and off sites, doing things, working with just about everyone involved, because you have to be totally hands-on and in at the pointy end of it. And of course, as part of my operations manager side of things, I had to monitor health and safety and deal with any health and safety issues whenever they were raised. So a site manager would get a health and safety issue off, say, a contractor. If it's something smaller he could deal with immediately, he would. If it was something much more, involved, that he wasn't comfortable with dealing with, or that would cost money or delay build or something like that, he'd come to me. I had to make the decisions. But generally, if it was a major issue, I had to close the site for a day or 2 days, whatever, or at least lock off part of the site and things like that. I had to make those decisions. So I knew full well and was completely up to date on health and safety matters. Now, it's been 5 years since I've done that, So there may be some small changes, but nothing substantial has changed. And certainly once a health and safety matter has been raised, you are obliged by law to investigate and remediate. That's all you have to do. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video, and I will speak to you good people later. Bye.